Well, good morning. It's another Sunday. At least the sun is shining down here. First morning with sunshine in quite a while. It looks like it might actually be a nice day without rain. We'll see. I wrote my blog this morning and I talked about how good old Donnie ain't going anywhere. He's just sitting around waiting for something to happen, I guess. I think he's trying to make a deal. To get out of all the trouble he's in, money-wise and everything. But I'm not sure that either side really wants him to have that. But we'll see down the road, But they better do something quick because our security's at risk now. Biden's not getting the information he needs to help with the COVID, and Trump is just hiding in his room crying, a petulant little brat. Okay, so that takes care of that part of the deal. I had something I wanted to say, but my old age is creeping in on me, Oh, I know what it is. I was watching this demonstration they had in D.C. with all these people supporting Trump coming down there. And I was wondering if they really like Trump or they're really pissed off that there's a black woman vice president. I saw the reactions after Obama won the election. I read the blogs, I read the comments on Yahoo and everywhere else. They weren't political comments. They were, hey, get the monkey out of here, send the monkey back to Africa or whatever, And they weren't, and it was about his whole family, and I think that was horrible. If you got something to pick on the guy with, let's do it. Let's sit down. Let's have some sort of a positive discussion about it, the issue. Let's sit down and discuss it. Let's not have oh, you're wrong, that's it, that's the end of it, or we can't have a black vice president who's probably, and this is where I think they get upset about it, is judging by Biden's age, she might be able to end up being president. And I have no problem with a woman. I think a woman might be better than some of the men. I think a lot of the problems resolve around old thinking, out-of-date thinking, old people telling young people, teaching young people how to be biased and racist. And, I think that the children of the 60s went and hid someplace, That generation wanted peace, love, and harmony and everything else, and they had great music, and we had great music, and it was a wonderful time. I may be a little too idealistic, and people say it died with Kennedy, and I'm not so sure about that. I think it died with Nixon. But the thing is that, what happens to situations like that is kids grow up and reality sets in. Okay, hey, I got to make a living. Well, what's the matter? I can't get a job. Oh, it's that black guy's fault. They're right. Yeah, that's it. That's why I can't get a job. Not because you're stupid and you can't get the job. You can't get the job because it's a black person gets the job. I didn't experience any of that. I'm white. I didn't see a lot of that going on, My only bad experience with hiring or firing I had two bad experiences with black people in terms of hiring and firing. One was I had to fire a guy who made it a racial issue. The fact that he was hiding Tanqueray gin in the men's room and drinking it during the working hours was not, didn't come into the issue. It was, he's black. No, he just happened to be the one I caught. And the other one was a hiring issue where a young man came in to me and as a busboy, he wanted $8 an hour plus tips. And I was the manager, kitchen manager at the time, and I basically told him, I said, hey, you pay me $8 and give me tips, and I'll bust the tables, He was just, his wage request was just out of sight. And he ended up working in the last I heard of him, he ended up working pumping gas at night in a gas station in Morristown. So, hopefully he did better than that in his life. Just had to get rid of a little bit of the chip he walked around with on his shoulder. You see black people like that, you see white people like that, you see people all over the world like that, having that chip on your shoulder doesn't get you anything. Even if you happen to see somebody who's rich, it doesn't get them happiness, all right? True happiness. Pays their bills, they get to drive fast cars and everything, but and they appear happy, and maybe they are, and like Donnie's happy being an asshole. I mean, he walks around belittling people, and he thinks that's the way to be because he thinks he's so much better than everybody else. And I've said this before, and I say it again. I'll take the IQ test with him. I'm not. I don't profess to have. I'm slightly below a genius level every time I take one of these stupid things. But I don't think he's anywhere near a genius level. There's questions in there that I just don't think he can answer. I just think he's too stupid. That's never going to happen. He's never going to come up and have a test with me. So I have no idea what's going to happen. Another thing that about him that worries me is his mental state. I mean, he's basically locked himself in his room, and not coming out. I mean, unless he goes to the golf course this weekend, I don't know if he will or not. He's probably watching the Masters and trying to figure out, something to complain about that. But I have no idea, that he wants to run for 2024, and that the Republicans will support him, and I don't know whether that's true or not. I mean, it's true that, even if you look at the Democratic Party, the Democrats didn't have anybody new and exciting to run, and the Republicans don't have anybody new and exciting to run. I mean, Romney, Cruz, what's the other senator's name that's an idiot? I can't remember right now. That's old age, folks. But I don't see any new exciting people out there. The women were there, but the women had their problems too. I mean, there wasn't a real clear-cut, young, dynamic person that didn't scare somebody. You have that very young congresswoman from New York. I forget her name again. I could picture her. I think it's AOC they call her. Anyhow, she couldn't run for president because she's not qualified enough. She has no international experience, no dealing with guys like Kim or Putin or something like that. But you don't have to be old to deal with them. You just have to have the knowledge of how to deal with them. I think that they should do what the Chinese generals, and I think Russia does it too with their generals. All presidents or candidates should learn how to play Go or chess, or both, preferably. Go is considered to be the hardest board game in the world to play. Chess is just an intellectual study in frustration. I think they should understand those games, because then you have a possibility of understanding the Go. From Go, you have an understanding, quite possibly, of understanding the Oriental mind, whose logic is different than ours. Not that they're not crazy. They just think they think somewhat differently than ours. Their work ethic is much better than ours, and it's not all because of guns pointed at their heads. There are some very, very intelligent people over there, and some of them are in government, but they can't really. Some of those guys play both sides against both sides, and it's doing that shows you just how intelligent they are. They have to be able to do that. I think Trump's inability to understand that comes forward when he deals with Kim. They forget that the North Koreans invented brainwashing and all the mental games and everything during the Korean War. And these people are smarter. Kim was smarter than Trump could ever be. I mean, he picked out the personality traits. They studied him inside and out. They picked out the personality traits to cater to, and Trump fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. His desire to make the deal, to be the greatest deal maker ever. That's what's hurt the country more than anything else he did. His inability to make deals, his inability to see beyond. I mean, he had a chance with this COVID problem to come out, be the absolute great president. You know, he could have made the right decisions, held this virus in check. It would have been unpleasant, it would have been unpopular, but he could have done it. But he didn't want to. He didn't believe it. If that's really true, I mean, it's a sad state of affairs if he doesn't believe in science. I mean, if he thinks that this virus is just going to go away and the climate is just in a cycle, with, you know, a bad cycle, and will turn around any minute now. I mean, those things are scary when you have a man that's in charge. You know, I don't think even all his people believe everything he says that comes out of it. I mean, it's just impossible. If you believe every word he says, then you are not a very smart person. You know. Well, listen. As I told my readers on my blog this morning, that this is a football Sunday. I am going to go get ready to get comfortable in my chair. Make sure I have snacks, candy bars, and everything else, so I get a little fatter than I already am. And have Antonia curl up with me. You know, I have to get her to come in here one of these days so you can see her on the video instead of just the thumbnail picture at the beginning of the video. You can meet her. She's a very lovely young lady. Quite overweight, but like me, but she's a lovely young lady. All right, that's it for me today. Talk to you again whenever.